Welcome to my podcast, The Happy Hacker with Ambition. It's all about my ponies, Tia, Ginny and Indy Pony, my friend Laura and her ponies, Hector, Bally and Lady, and Lucy, her daughter, and her ponies, Donnie and Pixie, what we get up to and the everyday ups and downs of pony owning. Indy and I went arena eventing with Laura and Bally. So I said yes. Laura had an abscess in, she'd had really bad toothache, and her sister works for a dentist. She's very lucky, Laura, and in that respect, but Laura's terrified of the dentist. Laura's not frightened of many things, but she's frightened of the dentist. And she went to the dentist and the pain was really bad. And she had an abscess, a great big abscess underneath her tooth, which is hence the reason for her tooth hurting. And it had to come out. And it wasn't easy to get the tooth out. So I said to her, there's no pressure. If you don't want to go, we'd entered. And I said, if you don't want to go, we won't go. There's always another day. Don't worry about it. And she said, let me see how I feel in the morning. So we got ready as if we were going to go. We prepared as if we were going to go. And in the morning, Laura said to me, let's go. Let's just use it as a training day. And I was all up for that, thinking it was great. There were only 2 in my class. One of those was a child, because I was only jumping 50 centimetres. I warmed Indy up just by walking her about and round. I didn't go into the warm-up because the warm-up was manic. And I just thought there's no point. So I just warmed her up on the field that I could do as I was ready. I'd walk the course. I had to walk the course a couple of times. I find if I walk the course a couple of times, that way I learn it. If I can't stand in the middle like loads of people do. They walk the course and then they draw it out in their head. I can't do that. I'm not experienced enough to do that yet. I don't really know what they're doing, apart from drawing the shapes. It doesn't sink in. Everybody learns differently, and I have learned that doesn't work for me. So walk the course a couple of times. Even asked Laura, now get this, what my line should be. Yes, I asked what my line should be. I didn't actually follow any of them, but I did ask what they should have been, which I thought showed a little bit more of me going, oh, this is fun, which is what I did. And although in the morning I felt really nervous, I gave myself such talking to, it was ridiculous. I didn't take my cross-country body protector with me, and Laura told me off. I know, get that. Laura told me off for not wearing a body protector. But I did wear my little back protector. I didn't get hauled up over it though, so, but I have learnt that I have got to put it in the back of the car now, like I used to, and wear it a bit more frequently. It's also so it doesn't feel so alien when you do ride in it. I think that makes quite a difference. Laura's one, she's lost so much weight that it's actually a bit big for her now, which she can't tighten up anymore, so she may have to buy a different one, because we've got the same size, but I have regular and Laura's got short, because Laura's teeny tiny, and I'm not so teeny tiny, so I have got to sort that out. So went in. The young girl that was riding in front of me had not the best of rounds. To be fair, it was pretty shocking. Not only yeah, it wasn't nice to watch. You know, one of those things that you see and you go, oh, that's not nice to watch. We all have days when everything goes wrong. Your pony is naughty and everything, but that seemed like that was more, and Laura said later, she said, seems more like parents have bought a flashy horse and the child's not quite up to it. It had some strong metalwork in its mouth, and strong metalwork is all right if you've got good hands, and because the bit is only as strong as the hands that use it. And that's a saying that everybody says, but it's so true, and it wasn't the best to watch. Anyway, she got eliminated. She came out, she had a bit of a temper tantrum, she was crying. To be fair, I think she was frightened of the horse, and the horse was like on fire, really, and she let go. So as I'm going in, the girl lets go. The pony, luckily for the pony turned into the field by the side of the arena, because there are gates on that, and that is, the gates are generally open and the pony could have gone onto the road, but it didn't. It went towards the field. And then as I went in, they said to me, do you want to wait until we get the pony, or do you want to start now? And I said, to be fair, I just want to keep moving, because Indeed already started to be a little bit naughty. She started, you know what she does, fly bucking and tossing her head around and leaping up in the air and basically trying to unseat me. So she did a little bit of that. Laura helped me walk in. Laura shut the gate so the pony couldn't get out. I was going to go, and then Ali has foals, and the foals started galloping around as well. And then Ali was getting a little bit nervous, and she said, just wait until we catch it. So I said, okay. So I just kept trotting round until they got it, and then they shouted, you can go now. So off I went. So off I went. You've got to remember, 16 fences for a badger to remember. And I was quite pleased. I had walked the course, and I had a thing about fence number 14. Fence number 14 was, Ali had used the dressage markers that use at the corners of the proper dressage arena. So squares on little legs with little plastic, well, not real topiary on it. So I'd seen that and I went, oh, wasn't happy about that. So I was riding towards that. Really chuffed with myself. Was quite pleased with how I came along. Did canter a lot of it, did slow her down. Realised with Indy, if I go steady, you know, just bring her back. If I just change my rising a bit, she goes, oh, I'll stop. So she immediately goes to trot, because then that gives her more chance to poof, go. So I've learnt that from watching the video that Lucy kindly videoed for me. I went round, I was quite happy. I got round to fence number 12, which was a skinny brush. Now, I love a skinny. I've never jumped the brush before. It's never been that has never been part of the arena eventing before. So, I came out from the water, and the line was quite dodgy anyway. It was at an angle. And when I looked at it afterwards, I said to Laura, if I'd aimed for the bumblebee poles that were on the side of the arena, I would have come at it on a better line. But at that moment in time, and at the moment with my riding, I'm not up to that skill of thinking about it. I'm just getting over the fence to get to the next one. So I was quite chuffed with that. And I wasn't chuffed with that. So came in, and looking back on it, absolutely zilch impulsion. There was nothing there from me. So Indy went, I'm not going to jump that. She could have jumped it. She could easily have jumped it, but she said no. Brought her around again, jumped it, quite chuffed with it. Carried, although she hooped it. She absolutely leapt it. I bought the picture of that to remind myself of how not to jump it. So I have got that. She hoolied it over. I went up over the bank, and Indy was like, if you watch the video, she's zigzagging up to the bank because we generally just jump it the other way. So she jumped over it and she went, oh, okay, jumped over it, jumped over the tyres. And then I really pushed on for fence 14. So happy, flew it, absolutely flew it, loved it, was so impressed with her. I was like, yay! Completely forgot where fence 15 was. Laura shouting, turn, turn, turn. I was very lucky I didn't cross my tracks, that's all I can say. Came into fence 15, which was just, it was very much like a show jump, because it was made out of drainage pipes by the side and a drainage pipe higher up. So it looked like a black jump, to be fair. Again, no impulsion into it. And Indy went, get over yourself. Turned around, jumped it again, flew the last couple, was really pleased with how we did. We went back over the bank, back down and over the little jump. I was really, really chuffed. I mean, one, because I remembered the course until fence 15. But two, because it was more consistent than it had been, and Indy and I didn't argue as much, but I have learnt that I need to ride her more. My riding has changed a lot since I've had Rosie. I use more leg on Rosie than I do on Indy, and now I'm using more leg on Indy. Yesterday I rode her, I'm now talking a couple of weeks later. I rode Indy yesterday, and she's had 8 days off. She had 8 days off, 4 when I was away, but before that, because she came in after she had her shoes, she's just slightly lame, which was a bit worrying. It's that time of year and we start to have problems with Indy, so I left her and I rode her yesterday and schooled her and jumped her as well, and she needed a lot more leg. I don't normally need that much leg, and she was a good girl, really proud of her. She was golden child yesterday, whereas Rosie tested me. I was pleased I got 8 faults, but I was pleased with that, and because there were only 2 of us in the class, I actually won my class. So it's the first red rosette I have won on Indy. So right on the back of it, first rosette, 2 people in the class, 8 faults for me, other person eliminated. So I always write all of that on the back so that it just brings it. But I was really chuffed. That is Indy's my first ever rosette, red rosette. So I'm really pleased with her. I'm overjoyed, actually, if I'm honest. I was pleased with it all. Laura went in. Still you could see she didn't look well. The painkillers were beginning to wear her off. Laura was called in to jump first in the 70. And as Laura went into the arena, the rules were being read out for the change of course. Nobody walked that change of course. Nobody was invited to walk that change of course. And obviously, I'm very much, when I get called to go into the arena, I've got my game face on. Laura's really got a game face on. She's really thinking about where she's going, what she's doing, how she's going to do the lines. You're not listening to what the commentator is saying. Anyway, Laura jumped the wrong part of a jump and she was eliminated. And as soon as she finished, hello baby girl, hi Gin. Hi mommy, hi mommy. As soon as she'd finished, she said, well, I'm eliminated, let's go home. So we left. I mean, I followed with Indy and we washed them all down, loaded them all up, and we left. Michelle was super groom, looked after the ponies. It was really good. I was very pleased with what happened. Laura said to me, she went, her mouth was beginning to hurt, and she said, let's go home. She said to me, but she said, I have to say, I'm disappointed with that. The ride, Bally and her together, are amazing. The control, the speed, the listening to each other, perfect. So she said to me as we left, she said, I'm of a mind to enter the Blackwater Farm Hunter Trial. She doesn't want to do the one-day event yet because the dressage, and she said I'll just get slaughtered in the dressage phase, and she will, because for some reason judges don't like Bally. I don't know why, because she moves beautifully and her rhythm is unbelievable. I just don't know what they're looking at, but that's another story. So Laura entered to do the Hunter Trial, and Great Witchingham starts at 60 centimetres, and you know the phrase, it's a full up course. It's a full up course. I stood there, walked around with her. Michelle and I came with Laura, and we walked the course, and some of the fences in the 60 are also in the 70 and 80, so they're over 60. And one of the jumps, number 8, was technical, really technical. It would have been easier if it'd been a corner, and that's me saying that. So they had to jump those telegraph poles at, like in a, I was going to say an L shape, but it wasn't an L, it was the other way. So you had to jump in one way, it was 2 strides and over the next. So when you're coming from and it was a long gallop into that, Laura had said to me, she went, that's the thing, and that she pulled Bally out of that. She could have pushed her to go over it, but she did pull her out of it to come round to give her a better ride, because the whole point for the Hunter Trial was just to have it as a schooling round. And actually Laura finished, I think 7th, in the end, 5th or 7th, can't remember, because she had time penalties because of that, and 20 penalties for pulling her out. But she did brilliantly. That was her first ever won. And when we took Bally off the trailer, Bally was lit up, and there were so many horses. It's so busy. The dressage is going on already. There was show jumping going on as well. And I looked at Laura and I went, I can't ever bring Indy to something like this, because Indy would just explode. And she said to me, no, you're right, you can't. It would blow Indy's little brain cell. So I'm not going to take her hunter trialing. Going to work on Rosie over the winter, get her going and jumping. And Rosie seems to really enjoy it. She really likes jumping. She didn't like her schooling that we did yesterday. She hasn't been ridden for 4 days, but she actually went very well. So in the end, so I was very pleased with her. Very pleased with her, to be honest. And you can see she enjoys the jumping more than she enjoys the schooling, but she's got to do that. So because that way it improves it. Her trot has come on unbelievably. It's not the Rosie that I tried. She's much more forward going. She did try to use her weight and size against me yesterday, but we found a way of, what I did was, with Laura helping me obviously, opening my rein more, so, and keeping the other leg on, so she had to go into the contact, and she accepted it quite easily, so that's very good. I'm very pleased with her. Also, I went to Laura, I said, she's got a grackle noseband, which she seems to really love. And I said, do you think that's a bit loose? And Laura just looked at me and went, yes. And, tightened it up. So, but I actually think it was sometimes being too loose is not being kind at all. It just rubs. So I think that stopped a bit of an annoying bit for her. She's very good. I mean, she's very good. I'm very pleased with her. So the review of my arena eventing, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I was only doing 50 centimetres. It was nice. It was easy. Two run outs or 2 refusals, totally my fault. Didn't have enough impulsion. Have cantered a bit more than normal. Still not cantering all the way around. mainly because I try to adjust the speed of the canter and I overcorrect. And that seems to be my way all the way. I overcorrect without realising I'm doing it. When I was jumping yesterday, Laura said to me, "You're overcorrecting." And I went, "What am I doing?" She said, "You're just keeping them." She said, "It's almost," she said, "you ride Rosie like you expect her to do what Indy does." And so I've got to forget that. And then came in to jump again. Third time lucky. She jumped it every time, but she jumped it the best the last time. Just a bit worried about the way Tia's standing at the moment. She's got her legs. I shouldn't really worry too much, I don't think. But anyway, so that is my review of my arena eventing at Limekiln, and a quick into what we've been doing the last week. Thank you so much for listening to the Happy Hacker with Ambition. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. By subscribing to your podcast provider, that helps me make more podcasts. Thank you so much.